Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for, what is this, November 8th, 2020. Oh my god, this week lasted forever. It was, yeah, I mean, at least for us in the US, it lasted forever. I'm glad at least there's some resolution now. So much. It was so hard this week to concentrate on anything. I did read a little bit, but not as much as I was hoping for. Work was just a slog. It was just a long week overall. Again, I'm very happy so many people got out and voted. I think that was huge for the whole thing. So that to me is the best thing, because again, I'm one of those people who, since I could vote, has voted in all my elections. And I just feel like that is an important thing to do if you're able to as a citizen. So I think it's just great. So anyway, I think the turnout was great, which is awesome. And again, the results were what I wanted. Anyway, so that said, so again, I didn't read a whole lot. And I'm kind of not sure. I mean, I know what I'm kind of going to read this next week, so maybe we'll talk about that. But we'll talk about what's happening with the books I'm in the middle of, which is all kind of weird. So last week I talked about starting just on a whim, The Blacksmith Queen by G.A. Aiken. Oh my god, I love this book. So this is a fantasy. There's a light romance thread, even though this is considered a fantasy romance. I would say it's not super heavy in it. I mean, really, there's not a lot to it. It really is a lot of world building and a lot of fantasy fun, and it's hilarious. Like, you have to have a certain kind of humor, I think, to get this, but it's just over the top in a lot of ways. But it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a romp. I love her books. I mean, I only read one of her dragon books. I read About a Dragon, I think is the first one. I read that one, and I've never gotten back to that series, even though I have several of them on the shelf. So I'm going to have to pick those up. And then I also have read her Call of Crows series under her Shelley Lawrenston pseudonym, which I adore. And I need to read the Honey Badger one, so that's next on the list after this. But anyway, this was fantastic. So this follows Keely, who is told that her younger sister is supposed to be the next queen. And again, they're commoners. Keely comes from a blacksmith family, and she is kind of like, what the heck is going on kind of thing. And people are out to kill her family due to this prophecy that's come out about her sister. And then she also meets a group of warriors who come to take them to make sure that this is that her sister is the one that the prophecy talks about, and they have their own special secret because they are shifters of some sort. So anyway, I won't go into that too much. The point is, this was really fun, and it's really short, so it's like only just under 300 pages. Yeah, just under. It's like 296. And so it read really fast. I do wish it was longer and there was more to it, but it's a trilogy, so we're gonna follow a couple other characters. Like in the next one, we follow one of the other sisters, not the two I've mentioned, but which is their relationship. This one and the one who's in the second book, their relationship is hilarious. They're just at each other all the time, and it's just always funny. Anyway, but the point is, if you have siblings, it's pretty funny. Anyway, to me it is. But outrageous. So and again, this is not like, I would not say there's stuff that happens in here. This is very action oriented. This is very, it has blood and guts, but it's not like described to that, but just know there's a lot of action. Like, there are people killing people and hacking and things. And it's definitely the more medieval fantasy kind of that way, trope kind of thing. Because the old king has died, and the new, the princes are fighting for power, and that's also part of this whole thing. It was really good. I really liked the world that we get to see, and I'm excited for the next book. The next book comes out, The Princess Knight, I think is the name of it, and it comes out on the 24th. So I will be reading that I would hope within a couple weeks of getting that. Like, I'm hoping to pick it up right away, even though then I'll have to wait another year for the next book. But I love this so much. It's been a while since I've had a book that just made me happy to read, and I just loved this last weekend. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad I on a whim picked it up, even though it's been on my shelf for over a year, that I finally just picked it up and I enjoyed it. And it reminds me how much I like her writing. Again, you have to like over the top, raunchy, kind of funny humor, and then just, I mean, again, and brutal is the way, as in these people action is funny to me. And again, I read a lot of other epic fantasy that's not like this, and a lot of it can be, this is not grimdark in any way. I just mean that it's brutal, like as in people are killing each other all over the place. But I loved it. Anyway, I enjoyed it. So if you want to take a chance on kind of a funny fantasy that's raunchy and hilarious, oh, it's funny. You also have to have kind of a bathroom humor kind of thing for some of the jokes in there, but it was just fun. It was not something I would read all the time, but I love her stuff, so I need to read more of her books. As I said, I have all 3 of the Honey Badger series to read, and I have at least 3 or 4 of the dragon books that I want to read. I need to get to that. They're just awesome. So I finished that on Sunday, and I picked up my first Nonfiction November read, which was For the Love of Europe by Rick Steves. My favorite places, people, and stories. Sorry, there's like a glare. I don't know, the sun is hitting my room a little differently right now. Sorry. So I read one of his other kind of essay books called Travel as a Political Act, which was really good. I think I read it, did I read it last year or the year before? I think it might have been the year before. Really good book, saying that as someone, you should travel in order to get a better perspective of the world and other people's situations, and not just look at it from your point of view, look at them from theirs and what they've had to go through and deal with. And it was a really good book. I really highly recommend that if you want to read something about traveling and being mindful of other people's lives. I think it was really well done. I really enjoyed that. So I saw this book was coming out, and the way the year was going, I just pre-ordered this because it had to do with him talking about the places in Europe that he has found and loved. So again, these were essays on several countries and areas in Europe that he has seen over the last 40 years in his travels. And again, Rick Steves does the, I don't remember what his channel, he's on public broadcasting. He has his Rick Steves, travel. I don't know what this show is called anymore. My brain just shut down. It's one of those things where I watch, that I've watched over the years, but I've never, and I own some of them. So it's Rick Steves Europe, I guess is this, I don't know. Anyway, point is that, a lot of that he has a list here actually of all the clips that you can look up, on his website of what he talks, like what he shows what he's talking about in his essays. So this just took me all week because they were essays, and I don't read a lot of essay collections or anything. Like I said, I had read Dickens last month, and it was hard for me to read essays. I'm just not a big essay fan. But in nonfiction, I know that sometimes I pick up stuff that's written in that form because it's easier to group ideas or events or things like that into essays. It's not my favorite form of nonfiction, but again, I'm trying to be more open to it because there are stuff I get out of it. Again, I don't like short stories. It's the same concept to me, is that there's going to round out in really, not enough detail sometimes. But these are really well done, just little vignettes of, they're usually 3 to 4 pages of an essay of a certain area or a certain town, and people he meets along the way, or has met, or or has a relationship for years, meeting them when he goes to that town. It was just really light. It was really nice to read this week because I was imagining being anywhere but the U.S. as we went through the whole election stuff. So it was really interesting to read this, and I did like it. And this book is like a travel book. It's the glossy pages, but it has so many gorgeous pictures. I thought he was funny. I like his, he does, he has his own opinions and things in here. So not everybody's going to connect with how he thinks about things, either on religion or on how, he views, political things. But I still really, really enjoy this. I'm glad I bought that, and then I read it this year. In the same year I bought it. Wasn't that good? And then the book I've started, not got very far, I started this yesterday, was Buzz in the Meadow by Dave Golson. This is kind of a follow-up book to A Sting in the Tail. I read that back in May for the Springathon. Again, I'm going to say, bring the Springathon back this year. I have too many books. So he works with bees in the UK, and he's a professor. And so he bought 33 acres in France, and he let the property, he tried to get the property to go back to a meadow and, you know, to be a wildlife preserve pretty much for insects and bugs, and just to see what kind of wildlife he could bring back to the area through that. And so it's kind of his, it's his own personal little project. And they talked about it in The Sting and the Tail, which is why I wanted this book right away after I read that book, because it sounded interesting. So like the first part is all about talking about the property and the things that he found when he got there, and then also what, you know, what animals and things and different kinds. So we're going through the different kind of animals and insects and bugs that are prevalent there. And it was really interesting. I've only got 53 pages in. I'm in a really long chapter called Filthy Flies, which is not, it's kind of icky for me. I don't like flies. I mean, everybody doesn't like flies. So the other stuff has been interesting so far. Just flies. Ugh. And he's right. Nobody likes flies. Anyway, but the point is, so I'm really enjoying this. It's a slower read. Again, it is kind of, to me, like essays on different subjects, but that's fine. As I said, like this is, I'm learning stuff, and it's nature and science. I just like this stuff. So anyway, I'm really glad I picked this up. It's been a book I've been wanting to read since May. So, I'm glad I'm reading that. Anyway, so that again is for nonfiction as well. So like nonfiction, my prompts, this was for movement because he's moving around Europe. And buzz, it's a buzz in the meadow. It's anyway. So anyway, I'm in the middle of that. So I'm planning to continue on with that book through this next couple of days. So let's talk about two of the books that I was in the middle of that I might abandon. Or, well, one of them I'm going to for now. It's not a full DNF. I've tried to DNF this book. This is the third time that I have to put a pause on the Tenant of Wellfell Hall. So I did not touch this at all this week. I could not bring myself to listen to an audiobook. I didn't listen to any audiobook this week. I mean, I did a little bit on Sunday, which I'll talk about, but it wasn't this book. So my hold went away yesterday or this morning. So I don't have the audiobook I was listening to. I am at 368 pages out of 500 and something. I don't know. It's not 540 or, yeah, like, well, actually there's like a conclusion. I don't know what that is. It's like 525. Anyway, so I still have, you know, 150, almost 150 pages left. Well, it's not going to happen right now. So again, Anne Bronte, as I said, I really am not enjoying this book. But it is not written badly. It is not that fault. It's just, it's not a story I'm attached to. Let's put it that way. So anyway, but I have 150 pages left. I have put a hold back onto the audiobook, and I think one other person has it in front of me, so I might be able to get it, you know, in early December. I'm hoping. So I can finish it out before the end of the year, because I really want to be done with this. But we'll see. Anyway, so again, the Tenant of Wellfell Hall follows Gilbert in the first part of the story, where he finds out about this woman who just moved into Wellfell Hall, and she's kind of by herself with her son, and it's kind of mysterious. She doesn't want to talk about anything. And while he tries to start a relationship with her, she allows him to read her journals, which is okay. But and then the middle section, the biggest part of the book, is her story of what happened to her in her life. And it's just there's a lot of things I want to say about this, but I'm also like, I'm not done yet, so I should finish. So I as I said, I will come back to that. It's not going off of my currently reading, because I'm hoping to get the audiobook back. But a book that I think I'm going to DNF, but I'm going to give it maybe one more shot. This week I didn't even pick it up. I didn't even look at it until this morning. And that is Light of Impossible Stars by Gareth L. Powell. So I really liked the first two books in the Embers of War series. I really liked the first book. The second book I liked pretty well. It was interesting the way it went. I was not expecting that. But this one switches it up and introduces a character that I just don't care about. And she's too much in the beginning, and she's too much, you know, into this. And I don't see what she has to do with anything with the characters that I want to follow. So I'm having trouble with this. I don't know if I'm just, as I said, I might just return this to the library and maybe come back to it later, or just consider the trilogy done in my head. I don't know. I mean, I really want to know how it ends up in the end, but she is just annoying to me, and I don't like the character, and I don't like following her at all. I don't feel like she's connected. I know there's going to connect somehow, but it doesn't help that I don't care right now. And she's half the book, and I'm like, I'm only I'm just about 100 pages. And she's been over half the book so far, and I hate it. I don't like it. So I don't know if anybody has read this series, and tell me if I need to just skim to get to the good part or what. I just can't stand Cordelia. I'm sorry, I can't. It drives me crazy. Anyway, it's just boring. It's super boring, and I don't want to read it. So I did start last Sunday, The Great Influenza by John M. Barry, the story of the deadliest pandemic in history. So this is nonfiction about the 1918 Spanish flu. So this is narrated by Scott Brick. So I have a physical copy and an audio. So I did start it, but I only got like 17 pages in, so I barely count this. So I just did it when I was cooking on Sunday, and I'll probably do it again today when I cook, because that's how I get through it. So again, it's very early days. It's just starting to talk about how it started and stuff. And I was talking about some of the scientists who become very important in what is going on during this time period. So I am looking forward to this. I mean, I think we're far enough into the COVID that I still want to read more stuff, history on stuff that happened in the past, and then, get a perspective from, what's going on now to then. So I do this is the audiobook I'm going to pick up for this next week. I'm hoping to now focus. I've let myself listen to music all week in my car because I just didn't want to deal with anything. So this is my one for, what was the prompt for Nonfiction November? Discovery. So I don't know. That's best I could come up with. And then I'm going to join the Fall Into Reading. I didn't do the challenge because I knew my reading was kind of all over the board during the fall. So I didn't really want to try to do all the prompts because I was doing Victober in the middle and then Nonfiction November. So I just didn't do that whole thing. But they're doing a read along on Instagram at I think I went through TN the Books, and so there's several people who are hosting it, but I think she's the one I saw a post on Instagram, and I decided to join for the read along this week of the Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. So we're reading it for the week, so I have mine tabbed up for every day. Is about 50 to 60 pages. We'll see if I hold to the schedule. As I said, I don't usually, except for last month, I don't read multiple books at the same time except for one physical and one audio. But right now, maybe because I have a nonfiction as a physical and then this, and I don't know. We'll see how I do it. But I'm going to try to get it keep on schedule for this to keep along with the group on Instagram so I can read their comments. So I don't know a whole lot about this anymore. I've had this book on my shelf for probably a year. But it has to do with, I know it has to do with women who are like somehow connected to classics. Like this is Mary Jekyll, and there's and it's talking about I think she's looking for the murderer of her father, who is Edward Hyde. So, and then she runs into somebody she runs into Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson and some other people. I don't know. I want to see. I don't know a lot about this. I just hear it's fun. I'm hoping it's fun. I don't know. If you guys have read it, let me know, but I'm going to read that this week. And then I don't know what nonfiction I'm going to pick up after A Buzz in the Meadow. I'm actually been using the 1,000 Doors readathon that Emma Drinking by My Shelf is putting on. I use that as my prompts to read the first 2 books. So for the Love of Europe, I did the 5. She gave the prompt was 5. So I did that. For the Love of Europe is 5 words for the title. So that's what I use that for. And then the next one was that I went through a door and it asked me to read a book that's like a sequel or something connected to something else, and I picked A Buzz in the Meadow, which is not like a total sequel, but it's connected to in the Sting of a sting in the tail. To me, that was a connection, so it worked for that. So we'll see when I get done with that. I might go back and watch and find out another prompt. I'm just kind of using that for Nonfiction November just for fun. I don't know. I'm mixing up my readathons. Is there anything else doing that? I don't know. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so I don't think I'll get through many doors because I'm reading nonfiction and it's slower, but anyway, so, and then quick update, I am doing NaNoWriMo. I didn't mention that last week, I meant to. So I am on track as of yesterday. I still have to write this morning, so that's what I'm going to do after this. And I am just writing to prompts. I'm not writing a novel, so I'm a rebel this year. But to me, it was really much more to get me back into the habit of writing. This year, pretty much, I was starting to write a little bit end of last year or early this year, and then COVID kind of that whole thing knocked it out. I didn't write for months, and I think I wrote like 1 or 2 days during the summer, and that is unusual for me. I used to write all the time, and again, I just write for fun, so it's not like I was publishing or doing anything. I really am just a writer that writes for fun because I'm not that good, but I enjoy it. But the point is I've missed that love, and so NaNoWriMo has been really great to get back into just to get my mind working about stories and characters and plot and blah, blah, blah. You know, so the point is that I'm just exploring things. So I have a notebook that I've had by me on the couch that if I have an idea, I just write it down in there. So I've been pulling prompts of our ideas or images that I have had in the last 4 years that are in this notebook and just writing what comes to mind that day. So I don't know what I'm going to write today. I haven't decided on the prompt. I haven't decided if I want to continue the one that I started yesterday because I didn't get very far, or I don't know. We'll see. But I am keeping on track. I'm trying to get my words. I'm still hoping to get the 50,000. I didn't at first think that that was going to be possible, but I've been on track every day, so I'm hoping that if I just stick to that and just chug it away. I don't do much over ever. Like, it's maybe there's one day I do 100 or so words over, and then the next day I'll be like exact on the number I need. So not making a whole lot of progress, but as I said, to me it's more just getting the habit again and writing, and I have not written in months, and so it's been really nice to explore again. And nothing is good. I have a couple that I might explore a little bit more later, because again, when I write your prompts, some of them I just abandon that day, and then the next day I don't feel like writing that, so I'll write something else. But there's like one I want to kind of go back to and play with, but we'll see if I do it within the month. I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of a little update in case you care or are doing NaNoWriMo. So if you are, let me know. Anyway, so I think that's everything that I have to talk about today. I did put up my really big book haul. That was yesterday. I didn't mean to buy that many books. Anyway, and then I'll probably this week have my stats video up, so because I'm trying to do it earlier than I did for September. So October's will be up probably this next week sometime. Other than that, let me know if you guys are reading anything good or read any of these books. Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.